Welcome to another seminar. I want you guys to know that the purpose of these seminars is really to give you information that allows you to start living a prolific life, a life which is very fruitful, life that is unparalleled. That's the kind of information I intend to give you in every single one of these seminars, so that you walk out with wealth of information, which is generally not available. It's available to only very few scientists, and the physicians, like the rest of the public, are the last one to know it when they hear on the Fox News or something, okay? How many of you here were in a seminar that was here 3 months ago about weight loss? Okay, only 2 of you. You can consider this as a continuation of that seminar, in the sense that the fundamental idea I'm going to bring up today is basically the same. If you recall, I provided lots of scientific information on that day, which has been tested, verified, duplicated, confirmed over the last 10 years, that there are certain things you can do with your body, with your mind, and with your spirit, which actually switches on certain genes, longevity genes, genes that are programmed for health and longevity. They physically turn on. They might otherwise sleep throughout your life and do nothing. One of the greatest discoveries of the last decade is we put our previous ideas about the DNA code on its head. Our conception was, even in the early 2000s, when human genome was completed, that genes have determined your destiny already. There's nothing you can do about it. This is the secret code that determines everything about you. Now we know that that is not true. If you recall, I emphasized this point in that seminar, that perhaps only 2% of your genes are routinely making proteins and are active, that make you who you are, at least externally. These are the kind of genes which do routine stuff. They make cell membranes because cells have to divide. These are the genes that are responsible to make you look like the way you look like. For example, when a baby is born to black parents, it's going to be black, right? So there are certain genes that are going to give you the essential fundamental blueprints that tells you what the shape of your nose is going to be, what the color of your eye is going to be, what your hair will look like, how tall you are going to be, and a few other essential activities that go on in your body from the time you're born. Humans have about 28,000 genes. So if I told you that only 2% of them are routinely active, others are active too, but we are coming there. We are not there yet. Only 2% of are routinely doing the stuff of making proteins and give you the essential person that you are, fundamentally. So what is 2% of 28,000? About 500-600 genes. Guess what the rest of the genes are doing? Almost 27,000 genes are waiting on you to do something, to take an initiative. The other 27,000 genes are waiting on you to tell them what you want them to do. They are standing there waiting for you to express your wish. Your wish is their command. Folks, this is not Dr. Singh's science. This is not Dr. Singh's opinion. I don't want to use fancy terms like epigenetics. Actually, I'm talking about epigenetics. You pass on your DNA code from generation to generation. That does not change. But what changes is what is wrapping around the genes, the messages that are coming from your body, from your mind, and from your spirit. The same DNA code, the same message, has the ability to express itself in several different ways. And how it is going to express doesn't depend on your DNA code, it depends on you. Now we understand better, we know better. That is what I meant when I told you over and over again in that seminar that it's not your genes, but it's you and your environment which is going to determine what becomes of you, what the ultimate outcome is. So focus in this seminar on three words: environment, environment, your environment. In every seminar, usually I give you within the first 5 minutes the gist of the whole thing. The secret that comes out of the seminar is either the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes. In between, it's all detail. When I get into what you eat and what you don't eat, that's the detail of how you actually do it. What is the best way to change your life? Anybody can learn details, right? Everybody can learn details. The most important part is to understand. Remember, I was going back and forth. I said, understanding is power. What is power of mind? It's understanding, it's realization that something is true or something is not true. This is just a hype. To learn that is the quintessence of everything. Because the beauty of understanding is that once you understand, the motivation automatically comes to do the rest, which is just a detail. So always focus in my seminars on what I say in the first 5-10 minutes, and maybe when I wrap it up towards the end. I'm going to make it like a story and tell you that now we know that these genes will turn on what you do, not after you're born. Maybe it starts at the time of conception. It's the same idea. So let me give you a small story. How it is environment that does everything. I can say God is not so stupid that He programmed everything because He wanted to give you a chance. He wanted to give you the freedom of will. You decide how you're going to live a life. Therefore, He did not program you. He gave you that chance from the time of conception, the very first cell that was created after sperm and egg came together. It was one cell. It's embryonic cell, but it's very similar to the cells of the rest of your body because now it has full set of chromosomes. It has the entire DNA code. The 28,000 genes translate into billions of base pairs of the DNA molecule. But we don't care about how many billions. All we care about is how many genes actually code, carry the message from generation to generation. It turns out when you form the very first cell, somatic cell, it starts to divide. You all heard about it. One cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. Every few hours it doubles. 8 becomes 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, so on and so forth. Within days you have millions of cells. And then you have billions of cells. By the time baby is born, it already is made of trillions of cells. An adult, like your size, has about 100 trillion cells that your body is made of. When these cells start to divide, and they are like 100 or a couple of hundred, I'm removing all labeling and scientific terms out of the equation and simplify this for you. When these cells get to a few hundred, they say, stop, wait a minute. What are we doing? Our goal is to create a beautiful, amazing miracle of nature, create a baby. How are we going to do that? We're going to keep on dividing? How are we going to do that? The cells know that they are destined to divide and divide into millions and then into billions and then into trillions. They know they got a big army. Maybe we can assign tasks. We can have units and divisions of the army and start to assign them and say, okay, this group, your job is you're going to make muscle. This group is going to make the bones. This group of people is going to make the cornea of the eye. But how do these cells know if they're going to make a muscle here in the chest or in the foot? This is called in biology by the differentiation. These cells are called pluripotential cells, which have the inherent potential. Every single cell in the embryo has the pluripotential capability to become whatever they become. But they talk to one another and say, okay, this job, you group take this job, and we will go this way and migrate from downwards up towards the spine and then settle there and make muscle out of it. When there's misinformation and cells don't talk to each other very well, diseases occur sometimes. One of the surgeries we do on women is teratoma. When you remove the ovary, there is skin in there. Ovary is making thyroid gland, it's making hair, it's making eyes, it's making teeth. How do you get teeth in the ovary? It's because of a misunderstanding, miscommunication. Cells misunderstand that, hey, they are destined. Oh, who did I assign to make the teeth? They got confused. But how does this entire process happen? It happens, let's get back to the original idea, environment. The chemicals around those cells, they are messengers. They are constantly telling each other, having group discussions, who is assigned to what. And as these cells migrate to certain parts of the body, they are constantly guided. The path is laid out already. These cells have to go from California to New York. That's the only thing laid out. But once you start driving from New York to California, what happens in between? At every bifurcation of the road, you have a choice. Your environment tells you which road you are going to take. If the mother has created a good environment by eating good nutrition, good habits, good thinking, it's going to take a road